From the Pacific fjords to the Arctic tundra, and from the wheat plains to the Rocky Mountains, Canada is a land of vast horizons and diverse beauty. Its red and white flag, emblazoned with a single stylized maple leaf, flies over endless forests, shimmering lakes, and vibrant cities. Canada spans about 9.98 million square kilometers, making it the world's second-largest country by area, and is home to over 41 million people. The capital, Ottawa, is a center of history and politics, while metropolises like Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver rank among the most dynamic in the world. A highly developed economy and rich natural resources place Canada among the planet's largest economies. A founding member of the G7 and United Nations, Canada is known for peacekeeping and multicultural values. Canada's geography is sweeping and varied. It comprises 10 provinces and 3 territories, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean in the east to the Pacific in the west, and northward into the Arctic. This gives Canada the world's longest coastline. To the south, it shares an 8,891-kilometer border with the United States, the longest undefended land border on Earth. The terrain includes the towering Rocky Mountains, with the highest peak being Mount Logan at 5,959 meters, the vast boreal Canadian Shield, Great Lakes St. Lawrence lowlands, and the rolling prairies of wheat and canola fields. In the north lie the Arctic tundra and thousands of islands. Canada's climate ranges from polar in the Arctic to temperate along the U.S. border, with coastal rainforests in British Columbia, prairie grasslands in the interior, and harsh, snowy winters in much of the country. Canada's wild spaces shelter an extraordinary abundance of life. Over half the land is still forested, much of it pristine boreal forest, the largest intact forest on Earth. In fact, Canada hosts over 2 million lakes, more than any other country, and about 25% of the world's wetlands. These ecosystems support great diversity. Deep in boreal woods roam moose, caribou, Canada lynx, and timber wolves, while the Rocky Mountains are home to grizzly bears, mountain goats, and elk. In the Arctic, you can find polar bears, muskox, and Arctic foxes. The coastal seas teem with marine life. Whales, walruses, seals, and orcas are common in Canadian waters. One iconic symbol of Canada is the North American beaver, its national mammal. Birds like the Canada goose and bald eagle are plentiful, and even the snowy owl and ptarmigan evoke the northern landscape. Canada's national parks like Banff, Jasper, and Wood Buffalo, and wildlife reserves protect this natural heritage from alpine meadows to Pacific rainforests. Canada's story stretches back millennia to the First Nations and Inuit peoples who hunted and traded across the land. European arrival began in the 16th century with French explorers and British settlers. The clash and blending of these cultures set the stage for Canada's evolution. In 1867, the colonies of Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick united under Confederation as the Dominion of Canada within the British Empire. In the following decades, other provinces and territories joined, expanding Canada coast to coast. Over time, Canada moved from colony to autonomy. Key milestones include the Statute of Westminster in 1931 and the Constitution Act of 1982, which patriated Canada's laws from Britain. Today, Canada is a parliamentary democracy and constitutional monarchy, with King Charles III as head of state. The country is officially secular with no state religion and prides itself on inclusiveness. Its motto on the coat of arms is A Mare Usque Ad Mare, from sea to sea, reflecting the nation's vast breadth. So, Canada is famously bilingual and multicultural. English and French are its official languages, with French predominating in Quebec and being widely spoken in New Brunswick and parts of Ontario. Thousands of immigrants and refugees add dozens more tongues. Actually, as of 2021, about 7.8 million Canadians cited a non-official language as their mother tongue. Some of the leading ones include Mandarin, Punjabi, Cantonese, Spanish, and Arabic. Around 23% of Canadians self-identify as a visible minority, and multiculturalism has been an official federal policy since 1971. Communities across the country really celebrate this diversity. Canada's cultural scene is a blend of traditions. Indigenous artists are reviving ancient designs. French and British heritage still show up in literature and architecture, and global influences mingle in food and festivals. In Quebec, there's carnival in winter, and coast to coast you'll find summer festivals and indigenous powwows that are super popular. Canadian creativity has a world reach, from authors like Alice Munro and Margaret Atwood to musicians, filmmakers, and tech innovators. Everyday life reflects all this culture too. Just imagine sipping Tim Hortons coffee on a snowy morning, sampling maple syrup or poutine, fries with cheese curds and gravy, and gathering with family over hearty meals. Here's a fun fact. Canada produces about 71% of the world's pure maple syrup, with 91% of it coming from Quebec. Maple trees and the sweet syrup made from their sap are, deeply woven into Canadian identity. Canadians really do love to celebrate. On July 1st, Canada Day, the entire country marks its founding with fireworks, concerts, parades, and barbecues. Cities are draped in red and white as people gather on Parliament Hill in Ottawa or in local parks to sing "O Canada." Autumn brings Thanksgiving in October, when families and friends share a festive feast. Remembrance Day on November 11th is a solemn national ceremony honoring war veterans. Throughout the year, every community hosts festivals that blend cultures, like Toronto's Multicultural Carabana, Montreal's Jazz Festival, which is actually the world's largest jazz festival, Vancouver's Celebration of Light Fireworks, Calgary's Stampede Rodeo, Quebec's Winter Carnival, and plenty of local powwows and harvest fairs. Sports events also unite people. Hockey nights, marathon races in cities, and Canada's Grey Cup Football Championship. In Canada, seasonal traditions, from skating on the frozen Rideau Canal in winter to hiking in summer, really reflect a love of nature and community spirit. Sport is honestly a national passion in Canada. Ice hockey reigns supreme. It's recognized as Canada's official winter sport, and well, Canadians are the world's most successful hockey players. The Canadian men's team has actually won a record 9 Olympic gold medals and 28 World Championship titles. Icons like Wayne Gretzky, often called the Great One, and Sidney Crosby are household names across the country. On the grass, lacrosse is Canada's official summer sport, which honors Indigenous roots and Canada's early history. In winter games, Canada often excels in skiing, figure skating, and curling. Curling teams and skaters have won so many Olympic medals. Canada also hosts the Olympic Games, with the Summer Games in 1976 in Montreal and the Winter Games in 1988 in Calgary and 2010 in Vancouver. The country has world-class athletes in athletics, basketball, and golf, too. In every city and town, you'll hear cheers for local teams or national champions. Canadians really take great pride in their athletes and the spirit they bring. So Canada has this really rich, mixed economy that blends natural resources, manufacturing, and services. It actually ranks among the top 10 economies in the world, around 8th by nominal GDP, which is about $2.2 trillion in 2025. Some of the major industries here include energy, since Canada has vast oil, gas, and hydroelectric resources. There's also mining with lumber, minerals, potash, and uranium. And of course, agriculture. Canada's a leading producer of wheat, canola, dairy, and maple products. When it comes to manufacturing, Canada's known for automobiles like trucks and cars, aerospace with Bombardier jets, and a bunch of high-tech products. In recent decades, innovation has really blossomed. Canada invented the first IMAX cameras, the electric wheelchair, the pacemaker, and a lot of USB technology. Plus, researchers like Frederick Banting, who won a Nobel Prize, discovered insulin. These days, Canadian startups like Shopify and BlackBerry's Legacy and research hubs in AI and biotech are honestly world-renowned. On top of that, Canada invests heavily in renewable energy, with lots of hydroelectric dams and wind farms, and its universities are among the best, fueling ongoing progress. All in all, Canada's economy weaves tradition with technology, exporting quality goods and ideas globally while enjoying a high standard of living. For travelers, Canada is honestly a treasure trove of sights. It boasts 22 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, ranging from natural wonders to historic cities. For example, the historic district of Old Quebec is North America's only walled city, with 17th and 18th century forts and cathedrals. The Canadian Rocky Mountain parks, like Banff, Jasper, and others, were inscribed for their breathtaking mountain scenery and glaciers. In Newfoundland, L'Anse aux Meadows preserves the remains of a Viking settlement from around 1000 AD, which is actually the earliest known European site in the Americas. In Ottawa, Parliament Hill and the Rideau Canal, the world's largest skating rink in winter, recall Canada's political heritage. Toronto's skyline is dominated by the CN Tower, symbolizing modern Canada. Nature lovers flock to Banff and Jasper for hiking and skiing, gaze at Niagara Falls, spot polar bears in Churchill, Manitoba, or cruise the Pacific Coast on whale-watching tours. From the autumn colors of Algonquin Park to the northern lights over Yukon, the sheer variety of experiences is just immense. Tourism is a major economic driver, as millions each year explore Canada's mountains, cities, and cultural festivals, each region revealing a unique chapter of Canada's story. Canada's national flag is, well, instantly recognizable. Adopted on February 15, 1965, it features a vertical triband of red, white, and red, with a stylized 11-point maple leaf at its center. The maple leaf had actually been a symbol of Canada's identity since the 19th century. The flag's colors, red and white, are Canada's official national colors, white recalling the winter snow and red recalling the maple leaves in autumn, and historically the Red Cross of St. George and white of France from colonial days. When Canadians see the flag, they often feel pride and unity. It stands for From Sea to Sea, which is Canada's national motto. On national holidays or at international events, people salute the maple leaf, reminding everyone that under one flag, Canada is one nation. Thank you for joining us on this Flags and Facts journey. If the story of Canada inspired your spirit, from its wild northern lights to its warm multicultural communities, please like, share, and subscribe to explore more nations through the flags they fly. One flag, one nation, one story.